Hi everybody. I used to go from Paris to London in 3.5 hours 10 years ago. I used to go from Tokyo to Osaka in 2 hours 15 years ago. I used to go from Rome to Milan in 3.5 hours 10 years ago. I used to go from Hanover to Hamburg in Germany in 1 hour 10 years ago. I used to travel all around France with high-speed train which left at the distance of 3 minutes, 2 trains 3 minutes from each other every hour 10 years ago. I travel today from Washington DC to Boston on a Amish chariot called Amtrak in 8 hours, and Fox News called this train to nowhere. You know, the funniest part of all this is that there is nothing more exciting for a person like me that lived the experience of high-speed trains for years and saw them build and know everything about what are the advantages of having high speed, to see ignorant people that talk about things they don't know just for political reason and to get political points. It's exactly the same story with healthcare. It's exactly the same story with education. As I said, I lived in countries with universal education and healthcare, and if I look at my bills, I pay there 100 times less in taxes than what I pay here in premium for no services, for working 2-3 jobs, and for not saving money and not having holidays. Not to talk about education, same concept. I paid $250 for my education on a yearly base, and I had my American dreams in Europe so that I could travel abroad, learn 4 languages, be vice president of several companies, and now it's almost 10 years I've been living in the United States, happy and peppy as a businessman. But that's the funniest part. Now, we talk about education, we talk about healthcare. Now let's talk about high-speed train. They talk about the train to nowhere just because the first part of this train will be built between 2 cities in the middle of California. The first investment will be $5 billion, even if Fox News, because they are liars by definition, they told that the cost of this piece of the high speed in California will be $50 billion, which is actually the entire cost of the high speed train from San Diego to Sacramento, the entire California. You know, I don't know if you understand that. And the reason why they decided to between the two cities is exactly the same reason that happens in any other country in the world I have been, and they did exactly the same thing. They have a very good way to start the investment in areas that are not densely populated, but it could be a great test. First of all, technical test, speed test, and so on, without congestioning the urban area immediately with the track. So when they can test the train in certain area, they progressively expand, and at the very end they arrive in the big cities. And they use as a sample a city that is like Fresno, for instance, is a kind of big city but not huge city, so they can test the speed, they can test how it works with the city and so on. I calculated in my time that if I had to go from Paris to London by plane, listen to that, I had to take a cab to go from Paris center to Charles de Gaulle airport, and it took more or less 45 minutes, plus 40 minutes at least, if not 1 hour, waiting before boarding, plus 45 minutes flight from Paris to London Heathrow, plus almost 1 hour by cab from London Heathrow to the center of London. Or if you took the train, it took 30 minutes, and then you have to take a cab to go to the center. So for going for business from Paris to London, it took 4.5 hours, if not 5 hours in total, for business from one place to the other. Okay? 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours in which most of the time, of let's say 5 hours, 5 hours, where most of the time I spent that time moving around. I couldn't even work. I always took the high-speed train, always, because I was from center to center. Most of the time I took the train in the night, in the evening, so I could work on the train. I had my seat, I had my computer, everything. I could work, be in London, in the center of the city, in a decent time, and go to sleep and go to work. And as often it happened, sometimes I took the train in the morning and back to Paris in the night. If I had to do the same thing by plane, my business trip in London would have been a disaster, because I couldn't stay more than 1 hour. This way, I could take a train at 7 o'clock, which arrived at 9:30, have a meeting at 10:30 until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, take a train at 5:30, be back in London, in Paris by 8 o'clock in the evening. This just to make you understand how much you save in terms of business. And considering California is the #1 economy in the United States and probably the #1 economy in the world right now, is essential for California to decongestion two kind of traffic. First one is airport, and the second one, that is even bigger, is highways that are totally decongested. If you have a high-speed train, you can have two options in general. You have, it's called the express train, on the one that has much more, not slower, but it can make more stops. So if you have an express train, you can have an express train that goes straight from Los Angeles to San Francisco without stop. If you have a train that is not an express train, you can make a couple of stops more, but keeping always high speed. So in the congested area of Los Angeles or San Francisco, you can stop in San Jose, you can stop in Silicon Valley, you can stop in San Francisco, you can stop in Hollywood, you can know Long Beach or whatever. You can stop in you name it, Cupertino, whatever it could be, and the train still is an high-speed train. This decongestion traffic. You can even go to San Jose to Oakland. You can even go to San Jose to San Francisco and Oakland. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Sacramento, you name it. I mean, it's so obvious. And it's so ridiculous that Scott Walker refused the funds for a high-speed train in an area like Wisconsin, especially during winter time, that is very bad either to fly or even worse, to drive. This is called business. It has nothing to do with show off and giving a new line or giving high speed. This is called business. The ignorance of these people is I cannot even control them. The level of lie, they say, is unbelievable just to score points. And the worst part of it is that give the impression that America doesn't want to evolve, that America wants to remain an idiotic country of people, fearful people that don't want to go anywhere. They want to keep the money like Uncle Scrooge. And America is not that.